Welcome back to the season 3 premiere of Kicking It with Kenya. It's been so long, and this also has been so long because I've been trying to get this guy on my show for a long time.
Since like February,
for real,
and then everything kind of just happened, and
everything just happened. So we have independent wrestler Tommy Grayson on the couch.
How you doing?
And got my co-host over here, Louis P. Show can't be a show without my man to my right over here. This year has been really, really, really crazy. But this is why I feel like I want to start things off with a game. Neither one of them know the game. So y'all know I'm good for my games. Right? Mm-hmm. So the game is that I made up. It's called Questions. So if you use it, it's called #questions. Mm-hmm. And basically, I got all of these questions off of social media.
Damn.
All of these questions in this cup is off social media.
Yeah.
We will pick a question out, person reads it out loud, and we have 7 minutes to talk about the answer to the question. Got
7 minutes to talk about the answer to the question?
Yeah, like sometimes it's a debatable topic. So there's a lot. There's some ratchet.
Okay.
There's some heavy.
Okay.
And there's a little bit in between.
Damn.
So basically, y'all ready to get this going?
Sure.
And the only reason why it's 7 minutes is I know how we do on this show. Last time we played that other game, overrated, underrated, overhyped, we barely got through 2 questions. Barely got through 2 categories. So,
damn.
Time to get, and they don't know the questions in this cup.
I don't know the questions.
They don't know the questions in this cup. It's basically to break Tommy's virginity on the show. So we're going to get right into it. And I'm going to pull out the first question.
Ladies first.
Lewis looked like he's already in deep thought because he don't know what's in here. Like I said, there's some ratchet, there's some heavy. Oof. But it's just to start out my season 3 hours, COVID, it's been stressful. I had to get my bright colors on. I had to get my...
I love that shirt. I love those pants, by the way.
Listen, I had to do something different because this world is different. So let me get into this.
Got a female Spike Dudley thing going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to be like Tiana Taylor.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Do gender roles exist in relationships?
100%.
Oh, so you're already starting. Explain. What gender role? I'm about to start my timer.
That's just a fact of life. Do gender roles play a fact in relationships? Absolutely. There's definitely the perception of what a proper male partner should be and what a female partner should be, and everything in between. Being respectful to everybody. So. And especially now with just everything in society, stereotypes coming, into full effect and playing a factor in everything, I do feel like gender absolutely plays a fact in relationships.
Okay, Lewis.
I actually think it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about like some people would say a woman cooks, a man makes the money, and the man works, and the woman takes care of the kids. But I know so many people where it's kind of switch, the man cooks and the woman makes more money, or, you know what I'm saying? I think depending on what you're talking about, I think it depends, on the specifics of the relationship. But for the most part, I would say they do exist. It is a thing, don't get me wrong, but I think that now more than ever is more of a time where those lines are blurred a lot more than they used to be.
Yeah, when I saw this question on Instagram, because, you obviously read the comment thread.
Right. Yeah.
So I was thinking, in terms of dating. Mm-hmm. For me, I don't if I like it if the guy asks me on the date. I don't want to be the one to say, "Can we date?" If that makes sense. I know a lot of women out there would suggest a date, but I still feel for me, it's something that would I like when a man approaches me and be like, "Hey, I want to go on a date," and then I don't like when men be like, "So what do you want to do?" It's I also feel that's a man's job to be like.
So you acknowledging that. Basically, you're just agreeing with what we both said, that there are stereotypes and there are gender roles in relationships.
Yeah, I think,
they are to the extent that you make them.
Right.
I think what Lewis said, for example, if you come from, either a single parent household or whatever, then it's up to that parent to act as both mother and father and kind of blur the lines a little bit. So in that regard, you could say that, maybe they don't exist. But, I grew up with both parents in the household, and it was very, there were certain things, okay, no, this is a man's role in the relationship, and this is a woman's role in a relationship. And I do feel for a lot of people that that stigma is going to stick with, society forever, whether we allow it to or not. Like, I don't necessarily think that, like, if a woman approached me and wanted to date me, absolutely, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I wouldn't think that would be, dehumanizing me or demasculating me in any way. That being said, there are certain roles and there are certain situations that gender has to come into effect in the relationship. For better or for worse. And I think that's kind of like the blanket statement I would leave it at.
Yeah, and also, like, when we say gender roles, I know some of our audience is part of the LGBT. Like, listen.
Love and respect for
everybody. We're not going that deep. I mean, I'm only saying man and woman because, it's safe. All of us are pretty much straight. Correct. So that's it. Like, we're not saying, like, some people are like, but what about...
We have friends and family of... Every letter,
but I'm just taking it from my perspective. Correct. So I just want to name this. So I guess that one didn't take.
And that's kind of just like a cautionary on this game. Everything that I speak on behalf of, or we all speak, that we're speaking on behalf of how we view.
Yeah, I don't need cancel culture coming to me. So I guess that one didn't take 7 minutes. So who wants to go next to pick out their question?
Shot knots.
I'll go.
All right.
Let's see what we got.
I'm nervous because I know what I wrote down on them things. Oh, this one's a big question.
What conspiracy theory do you believe?
Shh, I'm passing on that.
What conspiracy theory do you believe, Lewis?
That there are aliens.
Please elaborate.
If that can be a conspiracy theory.
Well, elaborate.
That we as human beings on Earth are not the only living creatures in this universe. That if they are real, which I do think they are, and people in the government positions know they are real, they would never tell us. So they would hide it. So when people have these conspiracy theories about, there's aliens among us, or there's a UFO, or whatever, I believe them to be true. I just don't necessarily believe that an alien, by definition, may be like a little ET looking creature. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be anything. But I don't believe that we are the only living things in existence in this universe. Yeah,
you know what's crazy? I was going to say that one too, because like, honestly, it's a really huge galaxy out there.
Yeah.
It's too big for, like, it's too, but there's some people out there that believe that outer space is a projection. Mm. And, there's some people that believe that the Earth is flat. You just, you never heard that?
That outer space is a projection.
They think that
I've heard of flat earthers, and my only logic to that is if the Earth was flat, weather wouldn't exist, or time zones wouldn't exist. It would be a continuation. That's my there's no logic to back up that argument with
the flat earther.
Yeah, there's no logic in it.
Yeah, and
it's people saying shit to get a rise.
No, like there's literally a lot of people who believe like the stars and the moons and all of that are one big projection. I'm not one of those people because, like, if anything, since you took my alien one, I think a conspiracy theory. Like, I believe anything involving government sometimes, and I feel like I also don't judge me. I do kind of believe in mermaids a little bit. I believe in mermaids a little bit because you got to think about it. Only 10% of the water has actually been really, we didn't really. The ocean is a mystery. And who's to say that some of us survived on land? Yeah, but who's to say that some of us didn't?
So you believe in Aquaman? Or a version of Aquaman?
I don't believe that. All right, so when we talk about mermaids, I'm not saying believe
do you mean like a half human?
I don't believe that they look like half human, half fish.
Okay,
I don't believe that.
So just like with the alien thing, you believe in some sort of underwater species that is like
unidentified.
Correct.
Yeah. And that could be kind of related to us humans. I do believe that there's another brand. It cannot just be us on Earth.
Yeah.
Because like you gotta think about it. When you think about animals, how everybody like dolphins are like the dog of the sea. You know what I'm saying? Or is a sea horse? But everybody, basically, there's a parallel for every animal. Mm-hmm. There's a land one and there's an ocean one. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, what makes us think there's not an ocean one equivalent to us?
Right.
So, because like the ocean's really vast, it's really big, it's really deep. It's like a lot of things could be undiscovered. I still think there's like dinosaurs, like type of underwater dinosaurs down there. Because like you gotta think about it, they found like huge squids that predate to prehistoric times. So why is it that there's not other things out there that survived or like living in the ocean?
So you two believe in conspiracies that we don't know everything in our universe and that there's stuff that we haven't come into contact with.
Yeah, like I don't.
That's understandable. Yeah. I don't necessarily find that to be like A conspiracy a conspiracy theory per se. I believe that is more of like, I mean, there are conspiracy theories involved. I believe that's more or less like humans' curiosity, kind of saying like, okay, like we don't necessarily know and we're curious, and like it's a bit of an imagination type thing. But I do believe along the lines of like, yeah, there probably is some shit that we haven't discovered, and I believe that it is perpetuated by like the imagination of people.
So what conspiracy theory do you believe in?
I plead the fifth on that. I'm not getting into that. No, you get me started on certain things, and
so at least list the topic. Which one that you like? You know, I believe.
Okay, all right. I'm not going to say what I believe in per se. These are the general conspiracy.
Pique your interest?
Correct. Yes. 9/11 conspiracy theories.
I mean, anything government. That's me.
Correct. Definitely along the lines of New World Order type shit. Not no pun intended to wrestling or WCW. Yeah, just like I believe that main thing right now, I believe that we are on the brink of like an apocalypse. I believe that we are headed towards World War III, and I do believe that there's some sort of like civil war brewing.
Is that conspiracy or just the facts that are happening as we're looking at the world today? Like it's kind of going back to like what you were saying about my thing. It's like,
are we in an alternate reality or not?
Oh, you mean after the 2012 thing?
That's well. Not even necessarily. Like, part of me, like, I could talk for days. These are things that spark my interest based on, like, the evidence versus, mumble jumble that goes into it, And
if you fuse, if you have this side and that side somewhere along the lines,
there's some sort of the truth. I don't do I think that... Let me stop.
So, like, it's like kind of like that, where there's smoke, there's fire type of situation.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
All right. So
and I do, I've been to Gettysburg a couple of times, and I've been to, like, I live right by Letchworth, so I do believe there's some sort of afterlife that possibly haunts the earth.
So, like, I don't want to get into it either, but you ever heard of that inner earth theory?
That there's another realm within Earth there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I acknowledge all of that. And I think, like, I don't think it has to do with, like, Ouija boards or anything like that per se. I just think that there's stuff in life that happens that is of another element that humans can't identify until they're a part of it, and until we find a way to bridge that. Yeah.
And a lot of that, I think a lot of answers, that theory of saying, like, a lot of life's questions are answered through death.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why probably a lot of people can't come back and tell us the truth.
Exactly.
And if they do come back from death, it's kind of like, oh, this dude's probably bugging.
Exactly.
Probably crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so that's that one. That was actually a good conversation with the spirit. You pick your question now.
Oh, all right. May God be with me.
What do you think? You want to pick a ratchet one?
Oh, how ironic. What celebrity death hits you the hardest?
Damn, that's kind of deep.
I actually saw this on Facebook the other day. So being in the wrestling business, so first things first, they're like, I can't say deaths like, like Jimi Hendrix or Kurt Cobain. I wasn't old enough. Throwing this out there, my brother was born the day Pac was shot in Vegas. So that's very like, I don't know if it hits people the hardest, but like it's something to talk about in that regard. I would say personally, in recent years, I'd say Chester Bennington really set me back, because I legitimately remember like where I was, who I was talking to, what I was doing on that, like at that moment in time, and like Linkin Park was the first band the first band that I loved.
It was Suicide, right?
Yeah, it was Suicide, and it was in retaliation to forgive me, the guy I'm drawing a blank here. 2017 from it was I can't even think right now.
Because it hits.
No, I'm drawing such a blank right now, and I'm embarrassed. The celebrity that Chester was best friends with had previously committed suicide. He was from a band. We'll add the name in the description below. I apologize, I'm drawing a blank right now, but yeah, Chester Bennington. Definitely just because of where I was, and growing up, I'd say the three biggest wrestler deaths were Eddie Guerrero for obvious reasons, Chris Benoit for obvious reasons, and Crash Holly.
Tragic reasons too.
And Crash Holly, who a lot of people, he's kind of swept under the rug, but ironically, my first two wrestling action figures were Chris Benoit and Crash Holly, and Chris Benoit was double murder and suicide, and Crash Holly committed suicide. So it's just a really, like, it's a weird thing to think about, you know? Yeah. So I would
especially
say that.
Suicides in general.
Yeah.
It's like deep. And it's like, a lot of the times it's like, if people ever feel that way, you tell them, like, you got to go get help. You got to seek the help. Because you never know the lives that are impacted after you make the decisions that you make. And it's so permanent in death.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, Lewis, I already know yours.
Well, I mean, Michael Jackson definitely is one, because obviously, if you were born in my era or even era before,
you remember where you were when Michael Jackson died.
Yeah, you know,
Same.
and so Michael Jackson is definitely a big one, and obviously Kobe Bryant is.
Kobe was,
for me, it was one because obviously he's my all-time favorite player. The reason I'm a Laker fan since '98, and
I remember I texted you when he died.
Yeah,
I called him too.
And I didn't believe it. I was getting texts like, you know, like I'm not really, but. I think I would put Kobe's as more impactful for me just because it was so unexpected. Like, Michael Jackson had a lot of issues he was going through. It was unexpected, too. He was about to go on tour. But with Kobe, it was just, like, so, like...
It was literally a tragic death. And I know in the episode you talked about also the thing that was, like, sad. Like, the layer on the deeper sadness is also the fact that Gigi was also...
Yeah, I think anyone who's a parent can relate to that. That's probably, you know, the biggest fear of a parent, of not being able to do anything in that scenario. But as far as celebrity death goes, those two for me are the top.
Not to cut you off, it was Chris Cornell.
That's what you had to look at. It was that earworm thing.
Yeah, I again, rest in peace to Chris Cornell. I apologize for drawing a blank on your name. It was Chris Cornell's death had perpetuated Chester Bennington's suicide, and he was already like battling like with depression and all that. So, just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, I know. Like for me, I think we also talked about this on a Kobe episode. Like Aaliyah, her being so young. And also, like, her just finishing a video. And, like, I felt like she was at the peak. So, like, her dying, like, that hurt a lot. And then also, like, Nipsey Hussle. Like, Nipsey, like, that came out of nowhere. I left here when Nipsey died. And it's like, I remember I always see these things where they're talking about, like, who would you bring back? And it's like, in a weird way, like, I know it is, like, Whitney Houston, it's Michael Jackson, but it's like, I would bring back Nipsey only because I felt like he was just on the cusp of really trying to do things for, like, he was finally able to do more for his community and bridge gaps between, like, Silicon Valley and, like, the hood. Yeah. And I just felt like he had a lot more to go. And also, like, I know this is, like, a monkey wrench one, but Pop Smoke, I get he wasn't, like, he was young, he was just a rapper. I know a lot of people like, oh, you know, garbage rappers, whatever. But I just felt like he was so young. And to me, I just feel like nobody at 20 needs to die.
Nobody needs to die at 20.
Like, period. He was 20 years old, and it's like, I get it, but you don't know where a person, like, everybody's like, oh, but look at the life he was living. I get it, but he was 20. You don't know where he would have probably been even a year from now, especially when I listening to Meet the Woo 2 and all that. Like, I just felt like it was so much more that could be done. And maybe, like, you never know who he might have met in his life that would have put him on a certain path. Like, you know, even, like, going back to Pac. Like, Pac was into a lot of movies and stuff like that. Like, you don't know. And me and you talk about Pac. This time, Pac would have thrived during this Black Lives Matter stuff. And you just don't know where, like, somebody's life would have been.
Not to, I mean, I know I just want to extend the Nipsey Hussle and the Pop Smoke thing just a little bit. So... You know, somebody has gone that was an impact in society when people that don't even know you are talking about. Like, I remember I came home and my mother, who does not listen to rap at all, was like, "Did you hear about Nipsey Hussle?" And it's like,
because he did so much humanitarian work.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, "Yeah, I heard about it." I was like, and it's like I always loved and respect Nipsey. I didn't listen to him as much as I probably should have when he was alive, and for that, I'm kind of like, damn, but. You know, and I'm not going to say, like...
But it's like his work spoke
his work, and he, like, just reading all about it, and it was like, even the cops in the hood were literally saying, like, damn, like, this is going to set our community back. He was doing so much for this community that, like...
Oh, yeah, I remember, like, Chief was out there, like, I'm just sad. Like, it couldn't be Nipsey.
Yeah.
He said, nah.
And it was just, he lost his life to some stupid shit, just like Pop Smoke did. And it's like, with Pop Smoke... I feel for the kid. I feel for, you know, his family.
Yeah,
and all
like
that.
Nobody at 20 needs to go out like that.
Yeah, but this not for anything. It should be cautionary to people. It's like, don't think that at that young that's what the world is, because there are things that, like, I'm sure we all did in the twilight years of 18 to 23 that it's like, damn, if I would have known, like, that time goes by like that or whatever. There's a lot that. You know,
you always think you're invincible when you're young.
Exactly.
But it's like things like Aaliyah, things like Pop. things like
Biggie.
just even Selena. It's like anybody you meet, like Selena, it was a manager that did that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just I don't know. It's just a lot. But those deaths always like kind of like hit me because especially me being 28, like knowing like I was 20 and I know how young I was at 20. I don't think nobody should be dying at 20.
No, not
like,
at all.
No.
Not at all. I don't think people should be dying at 40 either.
No, that's too young. But yeah, all right. So let's see. Maybe we get like 2 more in.
We could probably cut the stumbling of Chris Cornell.
Nah,
dragged on
it's okay. Ooh, okay, a little something light. What song would describe your first time having sex? Your virginity loss. What song would describe that?
My version, so yeah.
Oh God, Lewis, not this again.
I don't delve into pleasures.
Oh goodness gracious.
So I don't know yet.
Oh gosh. Now, what song would describe your first time having sex?
J. Cole, Wet Dreams.
Really? Why?
I knew you were gonna say that.
Why?
Because I think it's the perfect description of it. Like the perfect description of the anticipation, the eagerness, the nervousness, and if I had to pick a song, that's the first one that popped into my head. That's literally what the song's about.
I don't know. Like I think like mine's. So I have a song that was actually playing in the background when I lost mine, which was Naked by Marcus Houston. But that song was still too grown for what my first time was. But I feel like if I was to describe my first time, it would be like that IMX song, My Very First in the House. Like, I just felt like it was such a teenage, like, bop that I was like, you know what? Like, I just remember, like, the smell of grass, like, you know, like, God. Opening the door and the smell of grass and then him walking in the house. Like, I don't know why. And then I just remember the video, like, him being in the room and having to hide, sneak out the room. Like, I don't know. It's just, the video itself kind of, like, reminds me of, like, my first time. Even, like, the scene on, like, Menaces, Boys in the Hood, when Cuban Gooding Jr. was describing his first time, and he had to hop out, even though we knew it was fake. But it still was like, I don't know, those things were parallel my first time.
Yeah. I don't even know.
He said but everybody remembers their first time.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a song, because I just remember, I just remember it being so awkward the first time that it's like I can't even think of like a song to describe what was going on. I do remember that I want to say it was around the time of 420. So I if there's like some sort of like pot themed like sex song that I'm drawing a complete blank on, then
maybe something Wiz Khalifa related.
maybe. Get back to me on that. I'm sorry. I can't.
Like the first
something like corny from like American Pie or something like that. Like one of
those like
sunset,
like one of those rock.
Yeah, one of those.
So would you say American Pie would parallel your first time?
Yeah.
It was a movie.
Yes.
So American Pie for you.
Like
what character would you be? Jason Biggs' character, Stifler?
Probably Jason Biggs' character.
Can you even give yourself enough credit? Stifler has
the first time, yeah, definitely. Everybody, like, at least, I'm going to pull that card. Every white boy at one point is Jason Biggs' character, whether they realize it or not. It takes time for you to develop into somebody who can, like, have that Stifler or
I thought you didn't even say Finch. You just said Jason Biggs' character.
Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, but Finch is. We ain't gonna talk about Finch. That's a whole nother. No. Finch has that weird dorky swag. Jim had that. Like,
he was a dork though. He was okay.
But he was nerdy. Jim's character was awkward and didn't know how to talk to girls and stuff.
And that was your first time.
I was a late bloomer. I'm not gonna front. I was a late bloomer, but I was one of those people that peaked after high school. You know what I mean? Like my first like real, without getting into it, my first real like high school relationship wasn't even until my senior year. And even that, like, I would say that the moments that defined us were like years later when we actually like reconnected and fucked it up a second and a third time.
No,
I'm just keeping it.
The fact that you said fucked it up a second and a third time, so it wasn't that fucked up the second time to go back a third time.
The second time was kind of just like hey, this is kind of like getting to know you again and realizing that we're not where we should be. And then a year after the fact, it was like,
let's try it again.
Yeah, and it just. Yeah, but like, yeah. So maybe not a song, but like, yeah.
American Pie is definitely where you would say that's you your first time
around. For the first time around, yes. Absolutely. 100%. I got no shame in saying that.
All right, so I guess we're going to do the last question, which would be Lewis. You pull from the cup.
I hear the ice cream man outside. That's how you know it's like, damn.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's hot out.
Yeah, for real.
You know, I said F COVID. We trying to make this fetty.
Facts. I can use it.
What happened on the first date that you go, nope, not gonna be a second date?
Oh.
You mean just in general?
Like whatever
what
happened.
Could happen or what
no,
did happen?
what happened? Like if you ever had a first date with somebody, you're like, all right, nope, this is definitely not gonna be a second date. That's what I saw on like did something weird ever happen on a first date that would be like, okay, no, I'm not seeing this person again. Like at all.
I don't think I really had that experience. I mean, I had experiences where we just don't really connect.
How connect in what way?
Like meaning like it's just like you're on a date, you're talking to someone, you're getting to know them. It's kind of just like, you know, like we just don't vibe like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just like you could be a cool friend, but we just don't really vibe. But I've never had a moment where it's just like, oh no, never again. You know?
I don't know.
That I could think of. Yeah.
I've been on a lot of awkward first dates, both as the person, like, you know, in fault and the person being like, just, nah, this ain't happening again. And like Lou said, it's just difference of personality and just, nah, this ain't happening again. Or I can't even think of it.
So nobody ever did nothing outrageous or anything like that?
On the first date, nah. It was more just less like, I felt something in me that I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna happen again.
What was the feeling?
That I was, no.
Just not feeling it.
I've honestly, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, it just, like...
Because, like, what is the deciding factor? Like, I mean, I know a lot of people say, like, they just wasn't feeling it, but what's the it? I guess that was the question. Like, what was the it?
Maybe you...
Like, what is it? Like, is it like were they snobbish? Was it just like, I'm just not getting the vibe? Like, what's the it?
It's more of a vibe thing. It's more of just like, you know, like when you're vibing with someone, it's a type of connection that can kind of not necessarily be describable. It's just, you know, like...
Was it not sitting well with you?
Like, it's like if you're in a good conversation with someone and like the whole night you're smiling, you're laughing, it's just like, oh, this is nice. But then you have, it's just like...
Forced.
It's just awkward and it's just like, there's nothing here. It's like, it's not there. It's like, I'm not really
It's just not clicking.
Yeah. It's like sometimes you have
that without getting into anything like specific, it just happens, you know. Sometimes, you know, like I know me in particular, like sometimes you could be talking to a girl through like, you know, message or whatever, and it's like, you know, you get there and it's like, wow, like, you know, what happened to all that confidence or what happened to all that?
Oh, yeah. The, like, you think it would translate well.
Yeah, you're different in person than you are, like, you know, through, like, either a previous encounter or, like, whatever, you know, it just...
Or even if you met them at a party or an event, but then when you're solo, it just still didn't mesh well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much what it could be.
No, see, like, with me, I had a date one time where the guy just... I don't know if he thought, like, I don't know if this was, like, his thing, but for some reason, like, he just kept on, like, talking about his money. And I'm just like, okay. Like, I think, like, that was the thing that probably got girls a lot of the time with him. But it was first of all, it was a blind date setup anyway. But then it was, like, he just kept on, like, insisting on his money. It just was, like, he was like, yeah, you know... It's nothing for me to go to Miami. It's nothing for me to do. And I'm just like, why are you talking like this? Like, for some reason, it just came off extra snobbish, and I just didn't feel like a sense of...
Yeah, I don't like people like that.
I didn't like it. Even, like, when he's like, oh, yeah, like this. Oh, I'm used to eating better this. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, but, like, and, like, I know, like, maybe that's I can't even fault him, because I know it's probably a thing that work with other women, but that don't work with me, necessarily. Like, it's not, like, something that it doesn't impress me.
Yeah.
And even if it was something that you're accomplished and it's like, all right, let that speak for itself. You know, like even with like, I think at one point in the date, he even dropped how much he paid in rent. And I'm just like, why would you tell me that? Like he was like, yeah, I just got me a new place and I think I spent like $1,600. I'm like, where is this? Like, I was weird this place, and I think he told me, like, I'm like, first of all, I forgot where he told me it was, but wherever the neighborhood was, I'm like, you're spending way too much money for that.
Yeah. So
you're just somebody who throws away money.
Yeah.
On just to say it, and he's like, yeah, you know, like it's nothing for me to just take a girl out to Miami. And I'm like, all right, like, but I don't know, I wasn't feeling it because of that.
he probably just wanted to hit it and then just never talk to you again.
Maybe, but he wasn't. But that wasn't the way to do it at all. And
it probably worked for other people because
it probably did work.
Because other, like, I can speak on experience. Some women are just in it for the money. Some people some people are in it because of what they, you know, can get out of you. So he probably felt like, you know, okay, I could show her that I got money. Type shit, you know, and
like even when he fumbled with his cards, he's like, "Oh, yo, I'm not gonna play with this one." Like it was like a black, like I guess a black S card. No, it wasn't a black card, but it was like it was dark color.
He was trying to impress.
And I'm just like, this is not. I'm looking at my friend. I'm like, girl, you should know I wouldn't date nobody like that. Like I don't date people like that. But if it's
is your friend somebody who's impressed by, like, not to call your friend out, but are they somebody who like is materialistic? Because I know people like that, and it's just some people are materialistic and bougie and want to floss, you know?
I mean, like, she's not materialistic, but, you know, I think all my friends do well for themselves. Yeah. And I think the environment in which she used to work was, like, full of, like, that type of guy. Yeah. So I think she just was like, oh, you know, like, I guess he was like, oh, I see your friend, whatever. And it was, like, a connection, like, oh, you should go date her or whatever. But it's just, like, I just necessarily didn't like that at all. Like, like, I'm not somebody you don't need to be like, let me stunt for. Like, I feel like
some people don't get that.
I'm attracted to, like, the confidence you have in whatever it is that you do. Mm-hmm. Like, as long as you come off with, like, you're sure of yourself, then even if you make 40 grand a year, like, if you're confident in, like, my money management, blah, 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 like, if I don't never gotta feel that, then, like, to me, you're winning. Yeah. But if it comes down to, like, yeah, I'm spending 16. You just stupid because I would never pay that for that area. Yeah. Like, but I don't know. But yeah, so thank you guys for playing my game. So yeah, like I said, this game is called Questions. You find questions, random things that you want to talk about. You put it in the cup and you just see what your friends got to say about it. This is definitely the premiere of season 3. And we will do more episodes with my good friend Tommy Grayson over here. And you know, Lewis is eventually going to talk his shit on a lot of other topics. So until next time, peace.
Peace.